The night laughter broke a marriage. The evening air buzzed with anticipation as I slipped into my favorite red dress, its fabric hugging my curves and painted on my brightest smile for the neighbor's party in our quiet Montgomery suburb, 2023. Daniel, my husband of 8 years, stood by the drinks table, his flannel shirt slightly wrinkled, chatting softly with familiar faces. At 35, he wasn't flashy or loud, just steady, kind, a mechanic whose calloused hands fixed more than engines. I used to love that about him, the quiet strength that anchored our life. But lately, restlessness gnawed at me. The warmth I once felt had dulled, replaced by boredom, resentment I hadn't voiced. I craved excitement, a spark to break the monotony of our routine. The party hummed with laughter, clinking glasses and soft music. Friends mingled, their voices blending into a warm cacophony. I flitted through the crowd, tossing witty remarks, thriving in the spotlight. Daniel stayed by the table, his reserved nature a stark contrast to my energy. As the night wore on, wine loosening my tongue, I started poking fun at him, small jabs about his predictable flannel, his quiet way of sipping his drink. "Look at Daniel holding that glass like it's a math problem," I teased, earning polite chuckles. The attention felt electric, and I leaned into it, ignoring the tightening of his jaw. My teasing escalated, each jab sharper, more personal. I mimicked his careful walk, exaggerated his soft-spoken drawl. "He's probably planning tomorrow's oil changes in his head," I quipped, the room erupting in laughter. Friends clapped, egging me on, but Daniel's eyes darkened, his smile gone. I saw it, felt the shift, but the rush of being the center drowned out my caution. I was unstoppable, or so I thought. Then I crossed the line. "Honestly, Daniel," I said, voice loud, cutting through the music, "sometimes I wonder why I married you. You're so boring, so predictable. It's a miracle you put up with me." The room roared, some laughs genuine, others nervous. I basked in it, blind to the hurt in his gaze. Daniel didn't laugh. He took a deep breath, straightened, and walked toward me, his steps deliberate. The room hushed, the air thickening with tension. Friends exchanged uneasy glances, their laughter fading. He stopped in front of me, his hazel eyes piercing, calm but unyielding. "I think it's time we end this, Sarah," he said, his voice soft but resolute, each word a stone. I laughed nervously, trying to deflect. "What, you're joking, right? It's just fun. Everyone was laughing." He shook his head, unflinching. "No, it's not fun. You've humiliated me tonight, in front of our friends, our neighbors. This isn't the first time. I've ignored it, forgiven it, but I'm done." My stomach plummeted, the room spinning. "Daniel, wait, we can talk." He raised a hand, silencing me. "There's nothing to talk about. I can't stay with someone who belittles me, who thrives on my shame. Not in private, not in public, not ever again." The silence was deafening, a void swallowing the party's warmth. Friends shifted, some staring at the floor, others whispering. My best friend Jenna looked at me with wide eyes, her expression a mix of shock and pity. I stammered, "You're leaving me over jokes?" His gaze held mine, unwavering. It wasn't a joke, it was betrayal, and I won't forgive that. He turned, grabbed his jacket, and walked to the door. The crowd parted, no one daring to speak. I stood frozen, the weight of my words crashing down. The door closed behind him, and the party dissolved. Guests mumbling excuses, leaving me alone with the echo of my laughter. I stumbled home, our house too quiet, Daniel's absence a physical ache. His keys were gone, his work boots missing from the hall. He'd left a note, "I'll stay with Tom. Lawyer will contact you. I deserve respect, Sarah." My knees buckled, and I sank to the floor, the night replaying, every jab, every laugh, his final words. The days that followed were brutal. Daniel filed for divorce, his resolve unshaken. I called, texted, begged for a chance to apologize, but he didn't respond. Friends who'd laughed at the party now avoided me, their texts short, their voices distant. Jenna sat me down, her voice gentle but firm. "Sarah, you didn't see how you hurt him. It wasn't just that night. You've been cutting him down for months." Her words stung, forcing me to face the truth. I'd chipped away at him, mistaking cruelty for humor, boredom for justification. I learned later that Daniel had sensed my restlessness long before that night. He'd tried to bridge the gap, date nights, small gestures, but I'd dismissed them, chasing a thrill he couldn't provide. My jabs weren't spontaneous, they were a release of resentment I'd let fester. At the party, I'd weaponized our private struggles, turning love into a punchline. Daniel, with his quiet dignity, didn't need to yell or fight. He'd walked away, reclaiming his worth. Months later, I saw him at a coffee shop, his face lighter, a new apartment key on his chain. He was rebuilding, surrounded by friends who valued his steady heart. I was alone, haunted by the party, my words looping in my mind. I'd lost more than a husband. I'd lost the trust, the love, the life we'd built. Daniel's silence wasn't revenge. It was power, a reminder that respect is non-negotiable. I learned too late that betrayal doesn't need to be loud to destroy. Sometimes it's a laugh, a jab, a moment of cruelty disguised as fun. And sometimes the strongest response is a quiet exit, leaving the betrayer to face the echo of their own mistakes.